Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. The rumor spreading through the league right now feels like the kind of whisper that starts low, almost harmless, and suddenly turns into a roar that shakes an entire conference. People close to the situation are saying the Philadelphia Eagles are quietly positioning themselves for a bold and potentially explosive move involving Trevon Diggs, a name that already carries weight, controversy, and fear across the NFC. This is not being framed as a simple trade idea tossed around for clicks, but as a calculated chess move that could redefine power structures within the conference. The Eagles are known for striking when others hesitate, and insiders suggest that front office conversations have shifted from curiosity to strategy. The idea of pulling a defensive star from a direct rival adds an extra layer of drama, making this feel less like routine business and more like open warfare. Fans are split between disbelief and anticipation, while executives around the league reportedly view this as a signal that Philadelphia is ready to push every chip to the center of the table. Nothing is confirmed. Nothing is official. But the smoke is thick enough that everyone is watching closely, wondering if this could be the kind of move that reshapes playoff paths before they even fully take form. From the Eagles' perspective, the fascination with Trevon Diggs goes far beyond highlight plays or name recognition. Sources familiar with the team's thinking suggest that Philadelphia sees Diggs as a personality fit, as much as a football fit. Someone whose swagger and confidence could amplify an already aggressive defensive identity. The Eagles have built a reputation for defensive backs who thrive on pressure, and Diggs represents the ultimate gamble. A player who can change games with a single read or a single mistake. The speculation is that coaches believe their system could unlock a more controlled version of his game, reducing the volatility while keeping the explosiveness intact. This is where the rumor becomes especially intriguing, because it implies a belief that Diggs has not yet reached his ceiling. Within league circles, some say Philadelphia feels they have the leadership structure to absorb a bold personality without disruption. If that confidence is justified, this move would not just strengthen the secondary, it would send a message that the Eagles are hunting dominance, not balance. That message alone could shift how opponents prepare, long before any potential playoff clash becomes reality. On the other side of this speculative battlefield, the Dallas Cowboys find themselves at the center of uncomfortable conversations. Even the suggestion that Trevon Diggs could be available, especially to a division rival, feels almost unthinkable to many observers. Yet rumors persist that internal evaluations in Dallas are more complex than fans realize. Some insiders claim there have been ongoing debates about long-term value, scheme fit, and the emotional cost of building around a player who thrives on risk. Trading Diggs within the conference, let alone to Philadelphia, would be viewed as an act of surrender by some and ruthless pragmatism by others. The speculation hints that Dallas might be weighing future flexibility against present star power, a decision that rarely comes without backlash. If the Cowboys are even listening, it suggests they believe their defensive identity can survive such a loss, or perhaps evolve beyond it. That possibility alone fuels the rumor mill, because it challenges long-held assumptions about loyalty and rivalry. In a conference where grudges last decades, a move like this would not just alter rosters, it would rewrite emotional narratives that fans cling to year after year. What makes this rumor even more compelling is the timing within the broader NFC landscape. Several teams are believed to be reassessing their competitive windows, and Philadelphia's alleged interest in Diggs fits neatly into a narrative of urgency. The Eagles are rumored to see the conference as wide open, vulnerable to a decisive strike that could tilt multiple postseason matchups in their favor. Adding a cornerback with Diggs' instincts could neutralize the passing threats that have haunted them in critical moments. Executives around the league reportedly view this as a sign that Philadelphia is less concerned with gradual improvement and more focused on overwhelming opponents with talent and confidence. This mindset, if true, explains why they would even consider doing business in such hostile territory. The idea is not just to improve, but to destabilize a rival while doing so. That psychological edge is often underestimated, yet it plays a massive role when teams meet under bright lights, even if the deal never materializes. The mere possibility forces opponents to adjust expectations and strategies, which in itself can be a subtle but powerful victory. The fan reaction, though unofficial, has already begun to shape the atmosphere around this rumor in Philadelphia. The idea of Trevon Diggs wearing midnight green is being discussed with equal parts excitement and skepticism. Some supporters dream about a secondary capable of dictating games, while others worry about the cost, both financially and culturally. Meanwhile, in Dallas, the thought of seeing Diggs line up against them fuels anger and disbelief. Rivalry thrives on symbols, and Diggs has become one of those symbols. Losing him to a hated opponent would feel personal, almost like a betrayal, regardless of the logic behind it. This emotional volatility is precisely why the rumor refuses to fade. It taps into something deeper than strategy, something rooted in pride and identity. When rumors reach this level, they take on a life of their own, influencing talk shows, locker rooms, and even player mindsets. The NFC has always been shaped by these dramatic shifts, and this one feels like it could be remembered for a very long time. As speculation continues to swirl, one thing becomes increasingly clear: whether or not Trevon Diggs ever becomes an Eagle. The conversation itself signals a shift in how teams approach rivalry and risk. The Eagles are being painted as bold, even ruthless, while the Cowboys are portrayed as potentially pragmatic or conflicted. Both images feed into larger narratives that define how teams are perceived league-wide. This is why insiders insist that this rumor should not be dismissed as idle chatter. It reflects deeper tensions, evolving philosophies, and a willingness to challenge unwritten rules. In the NFC, where history looms over every decision, such defiance can be transformative. The playoffs are often decided by moments of courage or hesitation long before the games begin. And this rumored pursuit embodies that principle, whether it ends in a blockbuster move or a dramatic standoff. The ripple effects are already spreading, reminding everyone that in this conference, wars are often won in silence before they are ever fought on the field. The second part of this unfolding story dives even deeper into the layers beneath the rumor, where motivations, leverage, and perception begin to matter just as much as talent. According to whispers circulating among executives, the Eagles' interest in Trevon Diggs may be as much about forcing reactions as it is about actually completing a deal. Philadelphia has a history of using pressure as a weapon, creating situations where rivals feel compelled to act defensively. By allowing this speculation to breathe, they may be testing Dallas' resolve, gauging how firm the Cowboys truly are in their valuation of Diggs. This kind of psychological maneuvering is common at the highest levels, though rarely visible to fans. The suggestion is that even a failed pursuit could yield valuable information, exposing fault lines within a rival organization. In that sense, the rumor becomes a strategic probe, not just a transfer story. If Dallas reacts strongly, it confirms Diggs' untouchable status. If hesitation leaks out, it invites further aggression. Either outcome benefits Philadelphia's broader understanding of the landscape, making this speculation far more sophisticated than it appears on the surface. There is also growing talk that Trevon Diggs himself could be a silent factor in this narrative. While no direct statements exist, people close to league circles suggest that players of his stature are always aware of their market value and the stories surrounding them. The idea of joining a team like Philadelphia, with its intense fan base and championship-driven culture, could be intriguing to someone who thrives on spotlight and challenge. At the same time, remaining in Dallas carries its own legacy and expectations. This internal tension, even if unspoken, adds fuel to the rumor. Teams pay attention to these subtle signals, reading body language, contract conversations, and locker room dynamics. The Eagles, known for doing exhaustive background work, are unlikely to pursue such a move without confidence that the player would embrace the environment. This is why the rumor feels persistent rather than fleeting. It suggests alignment, or at least curiosity, on multiple levels, making the idea harder to dismiss as fantasy. Financial considerations, though rarely glamorous, play a crucial role in keeping this speculation alive. Insiders hint that Philadelphia has been quietly planning future flexibility, positioning themselves to absorb a significant contract if the opportunity aligns with their competitive goals. The Cowboys, on the other hand, may be juggling priorities that complicate long-term commitments. When teams reach this stage, difficult choices often follow. Regardless of public sentiment, the rumor implies that both organizations are at a crossroads, evaluating not just next season, but the identity they want to project for years to come. For the Eagles, acquiring Diggs would reinforce an image of ambition and fearlessness. For Dallas, letting him go could signal a belief in depth and system over individual star power. Neither path is inherently wrong, but both carry consequences that echo through the conference. This financial chess match is subtle, but it underpins every dramatic headline and emotional reaction tied to this story. Another fascinating angle is how this rumored move could influence other NFC teams watching from the sidelines. Rivals are not passive observers. They adjust strategies based on perceived threats. The possibility of Diggs joining Philadelphia forces offensive coordinators to imagine new coverage schemes and contingency plans, even if nothing happens. The preparation itself changes the competitive environment. Coaches hate uncertainty, and this rumor introduces plenty of it. Some insiders believe that this is precisely the point, that Philadelphia gains leverage simply by being associated with such a bold idea. It keeps opponents guessing, questioning whether they need to adapt or hold steady. In a conference often defined by narrow margins, forcing hesitation can be as valuable as adding talent. This broader impact is why the rumor feels larger than a single player. It represents a shift in how power might be distributed, how confidence might be gained or lost, and how the psychological battle unfolds long before postseason scenarios become tangible. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. Media narratives, especially in a story like this, act as accelerants rather than mirrors. As speculation grows, interpretations multiply, each one amplifying the sense of inevitability or outrage depending on perspective. Some voices frame the Eagles as villains, others as visionaries. The Cowboys are alternately portrayed as stubborn or savvy. These narratives seep into locker rooms. Whether teams admit it or not, players hear the noise, coaches address it indirectly, and executives feel the weight of expectation. This is why rumors of this magnitude rarely disappear quietly. They either explode into reality or collapse under the pressure of denial. The Diggs the Eagles storyline has not reached that breaking point yet, which suggests there is still genuine uncertainty behind the scenes. That uncertainty is the oxygen keeping this speculation alive, feeding endless debate and analysis across the NFC landscape. In the end, the real significance of this rumor may lie less in whether Trevon Diggs changes uniforms, and more in what it reveals about the current state of the conference. The NFC appears restless, with contenders unwilling to sit still and rivals willing to consider the unthinkable. Philadelphia's rumored pursuit embodies that restlessness, signaling a hunger that goes beyond incremental improvement. Dallas' rumored openness, however limited, hints at a willingness to question tradition. Together, these elements create a narrative rich with tension and possibility. Playoff races are often framed as battles decided on the field, but stories like this remind us that they are also shaped by courage, fear, and imagination. As long as this rumor lingers, it will continue to influence how teams see themselves and each other, making it one of those moments that defines an era, regardless of how it ultimately resolves. Finally, as rumors continue to dominate the sports media ecosystem, the conversation around Stafford and the Eagles is evolving into more than a simple roster story. It's becoming a narrative about ambition, strategy, and the relentless pursuit of glory. Every leaked insight, every speculative analysis, and every social media post contributes to a broader sense of anticipation, as if the entire city of Philadelphia is holding its breath, waiting to see whether Stafford's potential arrival will finally tip the scales. Analysts debate contract implications, training adjustments, and tactical innovations, while fans dream of a season defined by deep passes, clutch plays, and dramatic victories. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly recalibrating, recognizing that the addition of a quarterback with Stafford's pedigree could fundamentally alter competitive balance. The rumor, in this sense, functions as both hope and narrative fuel, offering endless angles for discussion, debate, and storytelling. Ultimately, whether or not Stafford officially joins the Eagles, the speculation itself has already reshaped expectations, energized the fan base, and set the stage for an off-season and potentially a season full of drama, anticipation, and the tantalizing promise of championship glory. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.